All right, trying to keep my composure here, but oh my gosh, KU is 2-0 in football. What a win. And let's do a review. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Drew, better known as RockChalk01, and yesterday, whenever you're watching this, the 1-0 Kansas Jayhawks went to Morgantown, West Virginia to take on the West Virginia Mountaineers in their season home opener. And we needed an extra period to find a winner. And lo and behold, Kansas comes out the victors by a final score of 55-42. Yeah, let this sink in, folks. With that conference win, it's KU's first conference opener win since God knows how long. It's KU's first 2-0 start since 2011. And with that win, KU, as of right now, sits in first place in the Big 12. Who in their right mind saw this coming? I didn't. I predicted in my KU predictions video that we would lose this game. And wow, I just can't believe it. So also put this on top of it, KU against the spread is 2-0 as well. Because we covered the 13.5 point spread, let alone the 13 points actually went the opposite way as KU won by 13. So great. But I will say, with the good that happened with the win, there was a little bit of a downside with some of the plays that we made on the ball. So, you take the win, but there is some things that need to be fixed. So, with that being said, for those of you who don't know, I give positives and negatives about the game. I give a player of the game and a player who needs to improve. So, without further ado, let's do this. My positives for this game, and there's a pretty good number of positives, was KU's offense. My gosh. I mean, 50-plus points in both games. It was 40-plus if you count just regulation, but 55-plus in back-to-back games, which you think about that, the last time KU probably did that was 2007. So, great there, but also the numbers as well, as KU put up 419 total yards on the day with 219 passing yards and 200 yards rushing, which back-to-back games putting 200 plus on the ground and also in the air. I'm happy with it, and it was great. Another thing was third down conversions and fourth down conversions. KU did great on those downs. 11 of 15 on third down and was 1 for 1 on fourth. So the percentages on third and fourth down are getting much better, and the productivity when it comes to, having those types of plays are a lot better, and I love it. KU forced 2 West Virginia turnovers, while KU did not have a turnover at all in this game. They could have, but it didn't happen because Daniel Highshaw recovered the fumble. Thank you. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, the other positive was that we outscored West Virginia in 3 quarters, technically, if you count the overtime, but 2 quarters. KU outscored West Virginia, held them scoreless in the third, which is great, and the overtime period. But wow, you don't see KU do this stuff very often, and I'm just thrilled that they're doing this. So yeah, those are my positives. To the negatives, there was some big negatives for this Kansas squad. One thing is that West Virginia put up 500 yards in total with 355 yards in the air. Give props to JT Daniels. I said that West Virginia, can their scheme work with JT Daniels at quarterback? And yeah, you shut me up because he played great. The Pittsburgh game that he had was just a little bit but this game, he was out of his mind. And for part of it, JT was perfect. through a quarter, maybe even a quarter and a half, where he didn't have an incompletion. And yeah, he played great, and he was West Virginia's saber. Not only that, Ford Wheaton was a killer all game long. Our corners and our safeties couldn't do anything to stop him, and he just would get open constantly over and over again. And he made one of the most ridiculous catches I've seen in years, where they had about 3rd and 5 at like the 20-something, and he comes in from a post route and slides across the field. The ball is behind him, and he still makes the catch while like basically sitting upright, and got it to a 1st and goal at the 2, and they ended up scoring and getting the 2-point conversion to tie the game. So props to him. He was great. The other negative that I really have is penalties. Oh man, in the first 2 quarters, penalties killed us. I mean, face masks were like the big call that everything happened. It was just face mask, face mask, face mask. But 6 penalties and giving up like 60 yards hurt us. Now, granted, West Virginia got 8 penalties for 65, and that was all late in the game. So, kind of got bailed out a couple times here and there, but the penalties need to go down. And from a week ago, they went up, so got to fix that. But yeah, with that being said, I mean, yeah, we punted the ball 3 times, but give our offense credit. They saved our butts because our defense really didn't do much, and they gave up 42 in regulation. Thankfully, they didn't give up any in overtime, but yeah, so I'm glad that our offense stepped up. Our defense needs a little bit of work going in the next couple weeks, but I think those are easy fixes. And yeah, with that being said, those are my positives and negatives. My player of the game, now I'm actually going to give players of the game, and the first one is Devin Neal. He played great. Didn't see much productivity on the ground, but you know, he got in the work and did very well. 10 carries, 42 yards, 2 scores, and there was one play where he had the direct snap and it almost went to crap, but thankfully he was able to secure it and get the score. Here's that play. Also, later in the game, he got a catch for 17 yards and also scored a touchdown off that play. And that score shortened the lead that West Virginia had as KU went into the locker room. And here's that play. So yeah, I got to give Devin Neal credit. He played great. Didn't see much of the ball, but he made big-time plays when we needed it. And with that, he now has a total of 5 touchdowns on the season, with 4 of them on the ground. So, great numbers from number 4. The other player of the game is going to be the quarterback, Jalen Daniels. My gosh, the dude played amazing. Daniels was 18 of 29 for 219 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no picks, which now brings his touchdown to interception ratio to 4-1. So, great game that he had. And not only that, he also had a great running game as well. He was amazing. 12 carries, 85 yards, no scores, but it didn't matter because he was getting the yards that KU needed. Kept the ball moving, kept the clock running. He played great. And going back to one of his touchdown passes, this was his first one. He threw that to Mason Fairchild to get KU on the board early in the first. Here's that play. Just a stellar performance. I mean, the last couple of weeks, or the last 2 games that he's played, my gosh, I just can't believe it. He's playing out of his mind, and you go back to 2 years ago and you think, where was this? Where was this? And I'm glad it's happening, so thankfully it's going the right way. So that being said, my players of the game are Jalen Daniels and Devin Neal. Now, my player who needs to improve, I'm actually going to give it to Lonnie Phelps. He struggled. He had a couple penalties, which were the face mask penalties that we had, and really didn't show much productivity on the defensive side, with 2 tackles and one of them being assisted. So, yeah, he really struggled, and hopefully going into next week, he just gets the jitters off his shoulders since it was conference play. But I hope he gets back to the way where he was against Tennessee Tech and played out of his mind. So just growing pains at this point. So that being said, my player who needs to improve is going to be Lonnie Phelps. Now, before I conclude the video, I got to get this play off the chest because this was the game-sealing play that gave KU the win, which is also its first in Morgantown. Jacoby Bryant did it again with another insane play by picking off JT Daniels to secure the win. So with that being said, here's that play. Kobe, all I gotta say is, dude, you're insane. So that's awesome. And that's gonna do it for my review of KU versus West Virginia. Again, the final score in overtime, Kansas 55, West Virginia 42. Leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe. Push that notification bell. Tell your friends about these videos. And I should see you again for the next review as KU travels down to Houston, Texas to take on the Houston Cougars. But until then, have a good day. Never ever bring exotic dancers to Fieldhouse, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.